I would set up zones of 6 or 8 blocks in every city, and I would give those blocks all the money that we use for their kids in terms of keeping them locked up. A community that raises its children, I think, is the radical reform. Let me tell you, the issue in Illinois prisons, and I suspect in prisons across the country, is racism. It's racist and it's very poor. When you did a death penalty, I knew, I don't know, there were 17 people killed in Illinois and 17 exonerated. I knew all 24. If you killed a black person, they got 60 years. If you're a black person and killed a white person, you got the death penalty.
I've loved my association with y'all. Jeff, thank you very much. I'm honored.
And thank you for serving on the YAP board for as long as you have, and we hope you continue to do that. So without further ado, my mentor, your mentor, Randolph Stone.
I love being on the YAP board. I've been on a lot of boards, but this is my favorite. And it's because of the work that the people do for kids and for you. As Bill said, women get things done, so we have 4 women that are going to come up and talk about their relationship with YAP and the work that they do. First is Rosanna Onder, who is the Executive Director of the University of Chicago Crime Lab. Rosanna?
Research is often done from a distance, looking at data, and YAP and Children's Home and Aid were both willing to let us get up close, get proximate, understand from their perspective what they thought the program was doing and how we could design the evaluation around the program that they were planning to deliver. These young people have a number of challenges that they're facing, shockingly high rates of unstable housing and homelessness. On average, these young people are missing 10 weeks of school.
Now we just started something new. We have one of the things that we do as an alternative to expulsion is a program called Saturday Morning Alternative Reach Out and Teach. It's the SMART program. The SMART program runs for 7 weeks on Saturdays for about 4 hours a day.
As we work with our partners very closely to promote social change, because there are institutions and there are systems and there are processes that are upholding inequity. It's not just out there by itself. It's being reinforced, it's being reiterated, and if we don't get in the way of it, it's just going to continue moving. And that's a big problem.
I think one of the things that we've done at DJJ that I'm most proud of is we have drastically reduced the population of youth who are incarcerated.
Yes.
In 2 ways. The first was through legislation that kind of shuts the front door and limits which youth can actually be incarcerated in Illinois. And then legislation that limits the time they spend on aftercare. So that kind of shuts the back door. Because there's all this research that shows that just monitoring increases the recidivism rate.
In some ways I see this book as kind of a bookend to my first one, There Are No Children Here, where I spent 2 years chronicling the lives of 2 brothers living in the Henry Horner homes not too far from here. And I always remember the very first day I set foot at Henry Horner. It was my first time in the projects in Chicago. I thought I was pretty savvy about urban life. I grew up in New York City. I spent a year working as a community organizer on the south side of Atlanta. I was simply unprepared for what I saw and what I heard at Henry Horner. I mean, the conditions were, anybody who's set foot in public housing in the city knows this, the conditions were deplorable.
The core of our success is really relationship and love and caring. But YAP has been doing that from the get-go and understood this fundamental component of how you actually help folks be successful. And I think the reason that it's so successful even beyond the program is because by taking that path, by essentially saying to all the kids that YAP works with, you are worthy of time and investment and attention, i.e. you are worthy of love, those kids grow up feeling like they are part of a community and held by a community that's worth giving back to.